And it's the first time that anybody's heard me really talking this to a certain degree, because I am confused. Yeah, I mean, Candace, it's a dynamic with Candace Owens with me that the public may not understand. And so people love to hear me just bash her online, and I don't. And people probably wonder why. And I'll be honest, it's hard for me to even address it with her privately. Like, if you ever notice her content, she don't never say anything about me. And you know she disagreed with me. She probably adamantly disagreed with me. I'm probably one of the people that or at least the ideology that I have is one of the people that she probably hate. But we don't talk about each other publicly. One reason is because...
Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. Everybody's seen it. Y'all knew you've been asking for it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to talk about Officer Tatum on this most recent podcast. This is probably we're going to put Officer Tatum in we don't want to call out Candace, but she's wrong category. There's a group of people who will not call out Candace at all. There's a group of people that all they do is call out Candace, period, end of day. And then there's this group of people in the middle. We don't really want it. They kind of dance around. And this is probably the most clear that Brandon Tatum has been. Shout out to him. I want to give him some room, but this is what this is the verse that we're going to be looking at throughout this whole thing. It's Proverbs 27, 5 and 6. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. I just want to put that out there. That is the verse that I'm going to be focusing on, the foundation that I'm going to be building from as we look at what Brandon had to say. I got two good clips from here that I really want to look at, so let's bring them in.
There's no money in sanity. There's money in hysteria and getting everybody worked up.
Look, it's very, very true, which brings us nicely on to the age of social media where we are now, where people like yourself, you're truth-seeking and you're trying to bust myths. It's a valuable job and it's an important job. It's why we enjoy watching your content. There's other people, and we'll get into that now, who maybe have started out like that and slowly, because of the incentive structure within social media platforms, have drifted away from truth into sensationalism and from sensationalism into conspiracy.
Yeah, it is. The amount of conspiracies around Charlie Kirk's death is literally one of the craziest things I ever experienced. Like, I've always been I have never been a part of a conspiracy, meaning that this situation happened to this person I don't know. I don't know nothing about the situation. I'm just watching on TV like everybody else. And then there's conspiracies. And then you may buy into the conspiracies. No, I'm a part of this conspiracy. Like, I knew Charlie. I know the security team. I know everybody that work at Turning Point USA. I know the video team. I know Erica. My wife and Erica text. Like, we know all of these people. I worked for Turning Point since 2017. I was the only person the last 2 years doing campus tours like Charlie was. He would do his tours, I do my tours. So in the same video team, a lot of them guys would work with me.
So it's clear to say here that Brandon Tatum has affinity with both parties, because in a moment he's going to call out her name, she who shall not be named. And so he's talked about all these people at Turning Point and such like that nature and his relationships with them, as well as a moment he's going to talk about his relationship with Candace. So you have relationships with them both. Are you not responsible to both parties? That's my question I'm going to ask.
The same security team protects Charlie for, 10 years now. And so when I see people saying stuff, it's like, there's levels to it, right? I know some people are ignorant. They don't know nothing about nothing. They just like to post. But then it goes to the point where there are people that know the same people I know and say things that are incendiary, and it makes my blood boil. Like, I feel like I'm getting worked up now just thinking about it, because it's so egregious what's happening to those young people that work for Turning Point. The video team that they're saying took an SD card. Mike Turk.
Who said it?
He was doing a hat adjustment. I know that guy.
Who said
Frank
it?
Turk is a great guy. He's a Christian guy. He's one of the biggest Christian apologists that go on campus every day. He was Charlie's good friend. I was just at an event before this, like a year before that, riding in the car with him, he's a mentor, he's a great man. And then people on TV saying he's doing hand signals. His security team, these guys are all professional individuals that protect Charlie with their life for several years, everywhere he goes. And you think they're doing a hand signal. It's very sad to see some people are taking advantage of the moment, which means that it's a lot of money in conspiracies. Now that I found out, I wish I was a part of conspiracies. I'd be making way more money than I'm making now. But there's money in conspiracies. But also there's people who have another motive, and it's rooted in anti-Semitism, which makes everything that happens go down the path to lead to Jew Street, meaning that everything that they do have to lead to the Jews, which will make people go up and beyond to outrageous lengths, beyond conspiracy, to make this person responsible or this group of people responsible. So those are kind of like the two phases and dynamics that I see in this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and Israel in some cases.
That must be so incredibly frustrating because, like you said, you know Charlie, you know what he thought, and to have it misrepresented and to have people like Candace who were close to Charlie, who worked with you, and then come out and take that track. I mean, that must be heartbreaking in a way because that's your friend or was your friend.
Yeah, I mean, Candace, it's a dynamic with Candace Owens with me that the public may not understand. Candace is like a sister, right? We're not just, I knew Candace more than Charlie. I work with Charlie, we go on something. Candace is like my family, right? Me and her were like brother and sister ever since I met her. We started Blexit together, nonprofit organization that has helped wake up so many people around the country. Her aunt and my mama are like best friends. Her dad was in the hospital and I go to visit her dad at the hospital. We throw birthday parties for her dad. Like, we're a family. Her kids, we visit our kids play together. And so people.
So going back, so we have those two dynamics, and this is what I'm talking about. I understand that you have a great affinity with Candace Owens, not minimizing that at all. But you do realize that your friend, the one that you go visit her dad in the hospital and your kids throw birthday parties together and all this stuff like that, that friend is drawing a target on the back of the people that you also are friends with, that your wife also texts with, and all this kind of stuff that have worked around you, been mentors and the such. So there's going to have to be an open rebuke. And it doesn't have to turn into an all-day street battle, but there needs to be an open rebuke because one of your friends is literally putting your other friends, colleagues, acquaintances into harm's way. Brandon, it's not just something simple as, oh, they just have a meeting of the minds. I'm sorry, a difference of opinions and they're not seeing eye to eye. No, this is a totally different scenario.
Love to hear me just bash her online. And
you don't got to bash her, though.
And people probably wonder why. It's because she's like my sister. And it's hard to watch some of the things that she say because I don't understand where it's coming from. And
if you don't understand it, you gotta figure it out. You gotta pick the phone up. You gotta drive over there to the house, figure it out because it is a big deal. Part of the conspiracies that you said that you've never been a part of a conspiracy, but now you're literally, all the people is because of Candace. Now, sure, some other people have made these accusations. Some of them made them before Candace, and she just picked them up and ran with them. But she has the biggest voice. And she's been the one championing all of this that's going on. So the things that you're saying, Brandon, you're going to have to say something. You're going to have to bring it back in. It's better is open rebuke than hidden love. If you can rebuke her openly and she changes her course, Brandon, you've done everybody a great service. If she doesn't, then we know that she's unredeemable. Because Brandon, her good friend, her brother, the guy that started Blexit and this, that, and the other, we know like your relationship with her is way different than 99% of the people that are talking about Candace Owens right now. It's just something to consider, to think about, sir. And I really wish that you would do something.
To even address it with her privately, because I don't want to lose our friendship because it's bigger than politics, right? What happens when this stuff is over Well, I'll say this. People would love to see me just bash her, right?
I don't think it's bash her. I don't think it's bashing her. We want you to say, hey, you know what? You're out of pocket. And maybe you be the voice. Maybe you will be the one that will actually shake her loose, shake her out of this stupor that she's in. Maybe you need to go get mom and dad and say, Mom, Dad, we got to go talk to your girl. Your girl is out of pocket. Maybe you have a better inroad than other people. Maybe that. Nobody wants you to bash her, for real. No, they really don't.
But the same people will turn on me. Like if you ever notice her content, she don't never say anything about me. And you know she disagreed with me. She probably adamantly disagreed with me. I'm probably one of the people that she, or at least the ideology that I have is one of the people that she probably hates. But we don't talk about each other publicly. One reason is because
But do you talk, you don't have to talk about each other. It's, do you correct one another is the question that many people are asking. Because otherwise, if you're not going to correct her and she's not going to correct you, and y'all just say, oh, when we go out to the cookouts, we go to birthday parties, we don't talk about it, we don't pick up the phone and actually discuss it, then what's the point? What is this friendship about?
When all of this stuff settles, right, the people that follow me, the millions of people, when I say something wrong, they hate me and they unfollow me and they never talk to me again. When you have a friend, it's hard to try to damage their relationship because one day we're going to be old. Our kids are going to be, grown, and we may not even be in politics no more. And you don't want to burn that bridge.
But Candace is putting people in position. She's putting Erica in harm's way. We just saw that somebody made an attempt, or rather threatened Seth Dillon, and they were following Candace Owens. I don't think that this is not a politics thing. This is a right and wrong issue. Brandon, you're going to have to say something. I know you don't want to, but you're going to have to say something. If something goes off, pops off, and somebody starts attacking you because they feel like you're not supporting Candace, then you're going to be looking weird.
It's a difficult dynamic and it's the first time that anybody's heard me really talking this to a certain degree, because I am confused at some of the things that I've heard her say about Israel, about Charlie. It's confusing to me. And Candace is stubborn, if you haven't noticed. In our personal life, we argue back and forth, and I'm a stubborn person, she's stubborn. So it's kind of hard to say, Candace, let's sit down and talk about it.
But is it though? You just say, we got to sit down and we got to talk. We got to flesh this out. Do you love her? Do you care about your friend? Would you use this exact same approach if she were doing something like self-harming herself? Would you say, well, she's stubborn. I'm stubborn. It's hard for us to talk about it. I don't know why she keeps doing this. Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. If she was an alcoholic and you knew that she was driving drunk, you would not allow her to do that. You would not do it. You would, dare I say, physically remove the keys, remove the car, all that kind of stuff like that. You would call the police on her. You would not allow her to do this. So why are you doing this now? Just because it's verbal and you don't necessarily want to have the icky conversation? You're going to have the conversation, guy.
And one day I think I will. But it's a danger of saying, is this going to be our last conversation, right? Is this we're going to get into a big old argument and it's going to be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And that's as a family member, But we're adults, man. You're 30 plus years old. We don't say we're not going to be your friend anymore. Now, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say, no, I don't want to rock with you no more. That is what it is. But our biggest, because what you're saying is that you elevate the friendship above truth. Because the truth is you're out of pocket, Candace. What you're saying is putting people at CPUSA in harm's way. That's the reality. There's no way around that. So if you're not going to call her out and call a spade, I'm going to go back and pull this back in one more time. Do you really love her? Because open rebuke is better than hidden love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. If you give her a wound and say you are out of pocket and that damages her ego or that wounds her psyche, that friendship, that wound is faithful because you're a friend and you care about her.
Otherwise, sir, I'm going to ask you, do you really care about her? If your biggest issue is that she's not going to like you anymore, do you really care about her? And then I'm also going to double back and say, do you care about the people at TPUSA that you just talked about? Do you care about them?
I don't want that to be a reality. It is very difficult to see it because I don't know where she's coming from with some of this stuff, right? I don't know how to diagnose it. People in the public see her as a lunatic, but I don't know her as that person, right? I don't think, like, there's people out here that I think are bought. I mean, somebody paying them to say this stuff. I mean, they're out of control. Some people are saying things that they don't mean because it's a lot of money. Candace is very wealthy and successful. I think she actually believes what she's saying. I think she really believes it with her whole heart, which is also confusing to me. Because some of the question marks that are popping up as far as who's involved, who's responsible, I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know how anybody would think that Israel killed Charlie. It is the most ridiculous claim that I've ever heard in my life. Because Charlie, and I knew Charlie, I watch his stuff. You guys watch his stuff. Everybody can watch his stuff. I mean, the guy was the biggest Zionist defender out of anybody. And yeah, he was frustrated with a few things. And I understand that frustration. I don't have the same experience he has, but I understand how he can be frustrated. When you got people, your whole livelihood is donors, right? I'm self-made. Only person that can tell me what to say is me. And I can't even tell myself what to say half the time, right? My compulsion will take over me sometimes. But when you have donors like that and you want to say something and they come down on you and they threaten you with removing money and your livelihood, as a 31-year-old man, that can make you feel infuriated and want to lash out. That is the only reason why I think that Tucker is where he's at. Not because Charlie really agree with Tucker. It's because you're not gonna tell Charlie, right? Charlie's like, you're not gonna punk me and make me do something with dangling money. Which I don't agree with that approach that he did. Because when somebody's giving you money, you accepted the money for the terms. This is a nonprofit organization. Somebody gave you $2 million a year. And if you go and put somebody who's antithetical to Turning Point USA up on the stage, one of your donors, I mean, they raise hundreds of millions of dollars a year. This is one donor at $2 million a year. That's maybe fund 2 days of AmFest. So, it's not in the totality of circumstances and donors, it's not gonna make or break Turning Point. It's gonna make somebody upset, which it made Charlie upset. So back to the whole thing, I just think that I don't understand the level that people go to try to think or say that Israel was behind this.
And I appreciate Brandon, and I just wanted to end with that. And I appreciate Brandon, man, but I want to just point out again that if Brandon does in fact care for Candace like he says, he's going to have to be way more direct and way more specific in his critique of Candace. I'm gonna look at the second clip and then we'll be out of here. Here it comes.
To say that Turning Point was behind this.
Hold on.
I know these young people. They wouldn't hurt a fly. I was on campus and I got attacked at UC Davis. Now, I could have whooped all these little non-binaries myself. I wouldn't even ball my fist. I could have just been slapping them left and right. But I was trying to protect the image of Turning Point and not be the black man knocking out college kids. I'm 30-some years old. So I kind of just made sure I defended myself or whatever the case may be. But the kids that were doing the film were flustered. I mean, they're shaking. They don't know how to handle conflict. I was a cop and I fight people and pulling guns on people and so these young people are scared. They don't know how to handle conflict. They're intimidated. They don't know what to do. They want to quit. They want to go home. And these aren't people that will coordinate an assassination. You get what I'm saying? These young people on campus are now getting death threats. Young people who are working with Turning Point and now being framed as being a part of some collusion to get rid of Charlie Kirk.
And again, Brandon, I got to say it again, brother. Who put that out there into the air? Candace, my guy. She's the one that says she wants war with TPUSA. She wants war with these people that you're just talking about right now. So, sir, you're going to have to say something.
And it's very hurtful. Erica, I don't know her as well as I know Candace, but Erica, every time I've met her, she's so sweet. Like you see her, like, you see, that's like she's genuine, like that. When you talk to her, she's so like, I'm praying for you. God bless you. I love you. Thank you so much. It's so sweet. Every time I see her, she's like that. So when I see her now in her grief, I'm like, this is exactly who she really is. It's not a front. And she's a really strong believer in God, and so she know how to compose herself to do a press conference. And then she's probably falling apart at night. I mean, I can't stop tearing up thinking about the babies, so it bothers me when I see stuff. And it's not just what Candace is saying. It bothers me when I see all these people saying these things, knowing that the video team is in fear for their lives. People want to kill them. People are shaming them. And they watch Charlie get killed in front of them. These guys are not in war. Like, they're not like my guy who protect me, who's a decorated military guy. They have never seen people get beat up in front of them. They've never seen a conflict. They probably never fought anybody. To see Charlie get shot and blood gush from his neck and watch all this trauma happen, they're damaged for life. I think people don't realize this. The images of dead people that I see, 15 years ago or so, I still see these people. I still remember the smell, the look, the trauma, the feeling. I still dream about some of these people who I seen decapitated and bludgeoned. I can regurgitate minute by minute what I felt, what I thought, what I smelled in all of these situations of mass hysteria. And I did it for a living. These kids they need counseling. The security team needs counseling. I was worried, but one of my biggest worries was that one of them would take their own life. You got to think, man. Wow. They were responsible for protecting one of the biggest, most prominent conservatives of our lifetime. And they watched him get shot and killed, and they had to carry his dead body into the truck, and they're looking at him with a blank stare. They failed in their minds, and they can't go back. They have to live with that they let Charlie die. And when people coming out and putting these videos out to go viral, they're insensitive to the reality of those things.
I agree.
And to me, it's shameful. And, so I try not to say much because I want to respect my relationship with Candace, but
I'm sorry, you've literally ripped our heartstrings out about these poor men and women that are dealing with this issue post Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry, Candace's feelings are not up for discussion at this moment, my guy. They're not. Say it. Go ahead and say it, Brandon. That's what you need to do. Put it out there. Candace needs to stop. She needs to cease and desist. You need to be that voice that says that.
I just, as you can see in my content, it eats away at me every day when I think about it, because I love these people, these young people that are doing this. And I love Charlie. And if he could come back to life and just sit back, or even in heaven, if God lets you look down from heaven, if that's a thing, he would be heartbroken at some of the people who he loved, he trusted, that are weaponizing his name and his legacy. What I think is inadvertently happening from people like Candace and others is that what they're doing is going to mar his legacy forever. In 10 years, the emotion is going to be gone. The Christian revival is going to be a thing of the past to a certain degree. It's not going to be as fervent. They're only going to talk about the conspiracies.
I don't know if I agree.
Assassinate.
I don't think I agree with that. And JFK assassination had nothing to do with, I mean, he mentioned a revival, which I do think we need to talk about, man. There is a spiritual element that didn't come with JFK or MLK or fill in the blank assassination. This one is unique in that regard. So why would you not want to quiet any voices that are trying to stop what God might be doing through the death of Charlie Kirk? Why would you not want to stop them from trying to slow down the revival, slow down the move, slow down anything of that nature? Why would you not want to do that?
Martin Luther King's assassination, to a certain degree, is just marred with conspiracies. And Charlie's is the biggest, most prominent conspiracy avenue because we're in a social media age. Everybody saw him die, and everybody's comments is getting playtime. They say he got shot from the back of the neck, and it's a through and through wound. Didn't happen. We know it didn't happen. And I wonder sometimes, do people realize, especially prominent people, that you could be a contributing factor to allow the killer to get off? Because if you are pushing...
No, not you. Not your. You need to be very specific. Let's use some real definite pronouns. Let's, matter of fact, use proper pronouns. Let's say Candace Amber Owens is doing this. I'm not doing this. Brandon Tatum, you're not doing this. Brandon Tatum, you're not doing this. There's countless other people that are not doing this. You need to call her by her name, my guy. There's no reason not to.
Content that creates reasonable doubt in the minds of the average human that is going to have to be selected for jury. And if they can't see past the conspiracies that have been out there, and they have this idea of not trusting the federal government, and you have been putting out content every single day, giving the defense team reasonable doubt to believe that the killer didn't do it, you could be creating a case for the defense and not know it. And all it takes is for one juror to hold out, and you have a hung jury. And he's not going to be convicted. And this guy, I'm 99% sure he killed Charlie. The only determining factor that could make anything change at this point, because they have overwhelming evidence. If they didn't find a round, if they didn't find a shell casing or a bullet fragment, he would go to prison for the rest of his life. They did find a bullet. If that bullet matched the 30-06, he's doomed. He would get a death penalty. If the bullet doesn't match the 30-06, we have a big problem. But every sign, symptom, everything that I know in law enforcement is pointing towards overwhelming evidence that this guy did it. And we can get into that in a minute, because I'm like the John the Baptist, preaching in the wilderness. I'm like Noah, warning people, look, you better take your time and methodically go through this. There's a lot of evidence.
That's not what John the Baptist did, nor Noah. They were preachers of righteousness, my guy. They were calling people to repent. John the Baptist called the Pharisees a brood of vipers. Who told you to flee the wrath to come? Noah preached for 120 years while he built the ark. Sir, you shouldn't do that. That was not a good look.
Cannot present a probable cause statement to a judge to indict or to the prosecution to indict somebody without evidence. And I read the probable cause statement. They have so much evidence against this kid that there's no way he could get off.
And I just wanted to let Brandon finish that up. And the fact that he knows this stuff and is intimately related to the people at TPUSA, security and video teams and people that go to the campus events, as well as Candace, should drive his engagement to talk to Candace, because she is putting these people in such harm's way. She is doing such irreparable damage to Charlie's legacy. It's not other people. It is Candace Owens. She is definitely unequivocally the largest name doing this. And I think Brandon Tatum, he's got to say something. If he cares about Candace Owens, he must say something to Candace Owens. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. You agree with me? You think I'm off? What do you think? You know what? Give me the Bible passage that you would give to a friend who is doing what, if you were in Brandon Tatum's position. down below. Give me the Bible passage that you would give if you were in that position. Like, this is the verse I would tell my friend if my name was Brandon Tatum and I was talking to my friend about themselves. Or maybe that you've actually had a friend who was in a bad position and you had to talk to him. Let me know what you did. I want to hear it. I'm looking forward to reading it down below. Thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you so much for your support. And until next time, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.